We get plenty of heartache and a few moments of the adrenaline pumping, and I think that's what keeps you in it. I think I'd stay in it now for probably until I die.
Tony Price's trainer is Stuart Hunter, who came into the sport late and prefers to use catch drivers than race himself.
One good thing about being in this position, we can pick the best driver at the time that's in form. I've had a few drives and races, but with the owner the way he is, I wouldn't like to be driving any of his horses. He expects the best drivers.
Love winning. Hate coming second. Just like winning.
Number one thing as a driver, must be able to judge pace and have the patience. Most of the champion horses have had the same drive all the way through, and they just know exactly what that horse can do. They know when to pull that horse out to make its run. Put the fresh driver up on a horse that he doesn't know, they might drive it upside down. Harness horses, they seem to take a lot more work than a thoroughbred horse. Most of them would jog 6 to 7 miles a day. I think there's about 16 or 18 of them racing continuously.
I had about 70 odd at one stage. I had a bad habit they used to eat, and eating costs money. The way I usually put it is this: there's a lot of money in it. I got $1 million out of it. I started with 3 and ended up with 1.
Great efforts are made to vary the horses' routine so as not to bore them with endless jogging.
It's more of a science than the old method of hounding them around and around the track. The whole thing, a happy horse is a good horse.
We're swimming about 10 a day. Ones who swim might have a leg problem or they're bad winded, and swimming helps their wind, and also it's a good conditioner for building up muscle. They swim anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes. When they first start off, it's a bit of a fight to get them in, but after they've gone in the first time, after that, they go good. They seem to enjoy it, especially in the summer we have here. They'd rather be going in there than jogging 6 or 7 miles on the track.
Swimming horses is a highly effective means of keeping them fit, popular throughout Australia, and especially with the trainers in Queensland where the weather is hot all the year round. John McMullen's stables are in the middle of Brisbane's industrial sector. He swims his horses every day in Breakfast Creek, risking the sharks and crocodiles which have occasionally been sighted further down the creek. Swimming also enables horses with leg injuries to keep exercising without undue strain.
That horse got a bit of a sore leg, and the vet has advised us not to jogging because it's just going to damage his leg more. And this way, he won't lose his time.
Since they can't be turned out in paddocks, the horses in John's stables are put on the horse walker for 15 or 20 minutes every day, just to get them out of their stalls. Sprains are treated with lasers, which penetrate the injury and heal the horse in a remarkably short time. And as a standard procedure, all horses which have raced the night before or trained hard that morning are given a salt drench. This goes straight into the belly and replaces the salts or electrolytes which the horse may have lost through sweat. complete contrast to John's urban setup are the stables of Kevin Thomas, Brisbane's leading trainer-driver. Unlike America, 90% of Australian drivers train their own horses.
It's a disadvantage if you don't train and drive, because when you're driving the horse, you know his problems, where it's hard to get a driver to tell you what's wrong with the horse if you're just a trainer.
The yearlings here are always trained in trees, which gets them used to tight racing situations right from the word go.
You try a lot of yearlings to find one that can win a race, let alone find a champion. The champion's got to be very versatile, be able to lead, be able to get parked. They're very few and far between.
Kevin will drive close to 1,000 races every year, only half the number of the top American drivers, but working for 3 times as many hours per day.
I wouldn't be in it unless I could win. I wouldn't get up and work horses I couldn't win, that's for sure, because it's a 7-day-a-week job, and you only get out of it what you put in it. You don't get home from the races until, 12 to 12, and you've got to start again at 5, and that's not a very good life. I don't think I'd be getting up to work horses that couldn't win.
Horses can't be maintained at maximum fitness indefinitely, and the trainers must plan to make them peak for the big races. Albion Park is one of Australia's premier tracks, offering a variety of ways to enjoy the racing. The upstairs restaurant provides a gourmet buffet overlooking the track, while downstairs there are the hot dogs and bookies. In tonight's big race, one of the best bets is Tony Price's brilliant new mare, Hyperstat.
I've been talking to Stuart about a better class of horse, and I thought, well, there's no place to start at the top, so I thought I'd go by the best mare in Australia.
She's the best mare that's raced in the last 10 years. She's got now into a class where she races the best geldings and stallions in Australia. She must be something exceptional to be able to do that.
Kevin Thomas also has a runner in the big race, Henry Luca.
Henry Luca's a really nice horse. He's no champion in my books because he can't lead, but he's handy to have around. We brought him as a yearling for $5,000, and he's progressed from there. He's won something like $260,000 now.
For all this, some critics maintain that Henry Luca isn't strong enough for such a big race. The clear favourite tonight is My Lightning Blue, winner of the toughest race in Australasia, the Into the Dominion. He's driven and trained by Jim O'Sullivan.
My Lightning Blue, he's got a tremendous temperament. He's got a tremendous will to win. He sort of throws himself at the line. He seems to know where the winning post is, and hopefully, in the past he's always wanted to get there first, so hopefully he does the same thing tonight.
The track record for 1,609 metres. The starter, John Andrews, in the big yellow Cadillac, is calling them up behind the arms.
Right, David, move right up onto the gate. Keep on the gate. No dropping on.
They're reaching the starting point. The blue light is on, racing now, and My Lightning Blue is a half length off the machine when the starter said go. Run to the lead in the first turn. Talara Dream second, Hyperstat third. Henry Luca on the rail, and then Sovereign Cloud, followed by Sunset Candy on Cherokee Chief. I'm a threat second, last in the middle of a boy, and drop back to the tail of the field. My Lightning Blue leads by a length and a half. Sovereign Cloud 3 back. My Lightning Blue leads by 2 lengths. Talara Dream's under pressure. Hyperstat trying to get off the rail, and then Paleface Bubble and Sovereign Cloud. My Lightning Blue led into the straight. Hyperstat trying to get out. My Lightning Blue in front of Hyperstat. Henry Luca's flying on the rail. Henry Luca got up on the inside. He grabbed, but I think he won. I think Henry Luca's plows My Lightning Blue right on the line.
Henry Luca may be no lead horse, but he can certainly sprint.
You've seen an excellent race. Horses are not machines. Horses go out, their hearts are great. They're a horse you can love, a harness horse, and those horses give you their best every time.
All over Europe, harness racing is incredibly popular, with 56,000 horses starting every every year. Germany, Italy, Scandinavia, and France in particular produce some of the fastest horses in the world. There are very few paces in Europe, and the trainers take a certain pride in the extra problems involved in producing a trotter.
L'important, c'est d'aller maximum de ses possibilités dans une allure qui, au départ, n'est pas tellement la sienne, qui n'est pas l'allure naturelle, c'est-à-dire maximum de sa vitesse en restant au trot, dans une allure évidemment un petit peu artificielle. Donc voilà, on n'a pas besoin d'être un professionnel pour devenir un pêcheur, parce qu'il n'y a pas d'équilibre, si vous voulez. Alors, il suffit de leur mettre les appareils, et puis bon, à cheval, il lance. Donc c'est une question de tactique, un petit peu, si vous voulez, mais il n'y a pas l'art du professionnel.
Public attendance at the races is on the increase all over Europe, and even small countries like Sweden have superb racetracks and facilities. In terms of spectators, the sport here comes second only to football.
This sport is big for this small country, and we have a lot of good horses, a lot of stallions from the States. I think it's more difficult than flat racing because, we have the sulky. Maybe the other drivers don't drive like you want them to do.
Torbjörn Jansson is one of Sweden's top drivers, living just outside Stockholm and running a huge operation, training 90 horses and racing 5 or 6 evenings a week.
To be good, you must have a very good horse. A good horse makes a good driver. We start to train our trotting horses when they are 1.5 years old and begin race when they are 3. Some horses race until they are 10, 11. We train month after month after month, and sometimes the horse will be good, sometimes he will be not. The most important thing is that the horse will do what the driver wants to do. But if he don't have something in himself, he will never be good. It's important that they are fighters.
The 16th century chateau of Grosbois, just outside Paris, was bought by the French Trotting Association in 1962, and today it's the biggest trotting centre in the world, where over 50 trainers each have a yard. The facilities are magnificent. There are 3,000 metres of roadside tracks, 30 kilometres of woody avenues, and 4 circular training tracks with an additional covered track for times of bad weather. Yearlings begin their training in long reins, getting used to the harness and shafts before they ever see a sulky. Once the youngsters are broken to harness, the trainers have the invaluable benefit of a mobile starting gate. This means they can teach the horses to trot up close to the wings and make quick getaways from the start before they ever get to the races, where there will be distractions enough. It's not only the training of the horses which is so well provided for, but also their routine care. Grosbois has its own blacksmith, kept permanently busy shoeing the 1,300 horses in training every winter. An expert blacksmith is essential to get the best performance from a trotter. The angle of each horse's hoof to the ground is cut to suit his individual action, and great care is taken over the selection of the shoe. This may be made of iron, steel, aluminium, or even rubber or plastic. A heavy shoe encourages the horse to take a longer stride and assists his balance, making a break of stride less likely. But a light shoe allows him to trot slightly faster and tire less quickly. The art is to find the optimum shoe for each horse, and very often these will carry weights at the toe and heel, and will vary for front and back feet. As well as a saddler's workshop, the centre has a highly impressive modern equine hospital, where racetrack injuries are treated by skilled surgeons. Pari-mutuel betting returns in France far exceed those of other European countries, and it's these returns which enable Grosbois to operate on such an impressive scale. Close to Grosbois, but preferring to run his own training operation, is champion trainer-driver Jean-René Goujon.
J'ai fui l'école, je me suis fait porter malade pour quitter de l'école et j'ai commencé ce métier à l'âge de 13 ans. J'ai gagné ma première course en 1941. Voilà, ça fait beaucoup d'années. Moi, j'ai pas de secret, beaucoup de travail, beaucoup de chance de rencontrer des grands champions, c'est tout. Vous savez, j'ai pas de secret.
Monsieur Goujon has driven 7 or 8 champion horses in his time, but none better than the lazy, bad-tempered Ouvasi, who is the current star of the 75 horses in the stable, hailed as a wonder horse throughout Europe.
Ouvasi, c'est un très très grand champion, certainement un des meilleurs que j'ai eu la chance de connaître. Mais si vous le voyez comme ça dans l'écurie et tout, vous pensez qu'il a mauvais caractère parce qu'il est toujours en train d'essayer de mordre, de jouer et tout. C'est un cheval qui est très feignant à l'entraînement, qui ne se donne jamais, simplement à la compétition. Que ce soit à l'entraînement, que ce soit dans les hits d'échauffement avant la course. C'est un cheval vraiment très très relax. Et je crois d'ailleurs c'est ce qui fait sa force. Par contre, dès que nous sommes sous les ordres ou derrière l'autostar, il se tend et là il devient le grand Ouvasi que tout le monde connaît. Il se donne à fond. Il a une carrière exceptionnelle puisqu'il a quand même remporté 22 victoires consécutives. Il a gagné 2 fois le prix d'Amérique, 2 fois le critérium de vitesse de la Côte d'Azur, 2 fois le prix d'Europe, toutes les grandes courses qui puissent exister en France. Il a gagné 13 millions à l'heure actuelle, ce qui est déjà beaucoup pour un trotteur.
À 150 mètres de l'arrivée, Ouvasi se détache. Ouvasi va sécuriser en longueur d'avance.
The question that springs to mind is, when, if ever, will Ouvasi take on Matt Lebel? Although it's not impossible, travelling costs and quarantine laws mean that horses from different continents seldom meet unless they're subsequently to be sold in the new country. But efforts are being made to promote international competition, and Scandinavia is this year's host for the World Championship races, in which 10 top drivers from all over the world qualify for a week of racing in Scandinavia, with the final 2 races here in Sweden. The British driver qualified for this competition by coming second in the European Championships, a great boost for the sport in England, and a surprise to everyone.
When we came to Europe, they'd never heard of trotting in England. To see an Englishman, they thought it was quite strange. To finish second, it was real good.
Racing rules differ slightly from country to country, and the foreign drivers have new problems to face in Scandinavia.
I only drive paces most of the time. You know, they have hobbles on, and it's a little easier. But with these, you have to keep them balanced all the time.
We're not used to their type of racing either because we race mile races, and these here are 1.25 miles, 1.5 miles, or whatever, you know, and it's just a little bit different, completely different.
The way of racing, this is the first time I've ever played without a fence, a running rail around the track.
In order to overcome the prohibitive costs and quarantine problems of transporting horses, the drivers are all supplied with horses they've never driven before by local trainers like Torbjorn Jansen. But this too creates problems, since the horses are driven much harder than usual, even when they have small chance of winning.
They just can't get the better quality horses. No one wants to have the horse knocked about, I guess.
Whoever got the best horse usually wins.
For all this, the concept of bringing these drivers together is widely supported.
It's nice to get all the countries together and meet everybody, and it's good for the sport.
It's created a lot of interest in Australia, and it's created a lot of interest around the world where the drivers concerned came from.
The clear favourite is the Norwegian Ulf Thoresen, who has a 15-point lead over the Australian Ted Dampler.
The winner of the World Championship, I'm quite sure it will be Ulf Thoresen. That's because he's the best driver in the world.
I don't say that. So what the other people say, I can stay for that. He's driving the favourite in the first, and I've drawn bad, so it'll be interesting to see where we finish.
So with horses unknown to them, the drivers move up to the start, and they're racing. But the Canadian's horse is on a break. The Swedish horse moves out, but he's on a break now. That's 2 horses out of the running. And the Danish driver takes the lead. New Zealand and Macau are chasing him, with Ted Dampler and Joe Marsh bringing up the rear. Ulf Thoresen is challenging the Dane now, but here comes Ted Dampler, making an extraordinary run up the outside. Right into the lead. Ted Dampler is still leading into the home stretch and increasing his lead with every stride, as Ulf Thoresen drops way back among the stragglers. And Ted Dampler wins the race decisively for Australia.
It was a pleasant surprise, I'm sort of in the hot seat now. They told me my horse was very strong. I had to push him the whole way, but he was finished after 1 turn. Ice cold.
Ted Dampler now leads by 2 points, and all is dependent on the final race of the championships. A chaotic start. Neither Ted Dampler nor Ulf Thoresen were on the gate, and the Swede breaks early again. Joe Marsh moves up to take the lead, stalked by the New Zealander and the Dane. Then comes Stephen Lees for Britain. As they come up the home stretch, it's the Dane Birger Jorgensen struggling for the lead with the New Zealander Maurice McKendrick. But the real fight is between Ted Dampler and Ulf Thoresen, who are battling for 3rd place and the World Championship title. And the Dane wins the race from the New Zealander, but no one can see who came in 3rd. And the stewards are left to make the final points calculation as soon as they get the results. And Australia wins the World Championship this year. This may not be the best way of deciding the world champion, but the spirit of competition and cooperation shown throughout this international event counts for more than any medal.